What up, Atomic Domination? Here we are with episode 9er. That's right, number 9. We're rolling right along. So the new year has been good. So on this episode, here's what's ahead. We're going to talk about how boys club's winding down. We talked loosely about that in the last episode. And we're going to talk about NCAA men's season has launched. It's on its way. And don't forget, the Professional Volleyball Federation is also kicking off on the 24th. 3 matches this week. All right, and I just want you to know that this year in NCAA men's volleyball, it's the year of the coal, baby, and we're going to talk about what shovel and coal means in this episode. So enjoy that B-roll. Hit it. All right, welcome back. Here we go. We're going to kick it off with boys club season winding down. This weekend we are in Milwaukee, so coming right up just a few days. So we're training hard and we're preparing. Our pool looks a little differently. We got some tougher teams, so we'll see how that goes. I can't say we've had a huge amount of success as far as wins go, but we're just above 500, so that's a positive thing. But we could definitely could have closed out some of those games. Just a few errors that we needed to take care of. But all in all, the boys are playing much better, and we found a continuity that we like. So we're gonna roll with it this weekend and see where we end up. But who knows? Maybe we'll end up in the ship. I don't know. Maybe not. All right. So boys club. Let's talk about it. High school tryouts are almost here. Are you ready? You need to get ready. If you're not ready, it might be too late to get ready. So here's what we're going to talk about with high school season is I'm going to help shape your mindset, okay? Don't forget, always, the coach's job is to find the player that's better than you, okay? Straight up simple. Your job is to make sure that he doesn't find that player, okay? You need to go out and get into beast mode and do what you can do on that court so you get noticed, right? And here's your priority. According to me, it's just my thin opinion. I'm not saying that you got to do this exactly, but this is some framework that you can kind of help shape your mindset with. First thing, effort. I mean, you can have zero talent and put forth a ton of effort. I strongly suggest you do that, right? Like, effort is key, right? Second thing is communication. Coach wants to know that you're putting out a lot of effort and you're talking, you're communicating with your teammates. And your skill comes into play, right? You got to have the skill to back it up. Maybe you're not good enough to play on this team. Maybe you are good enough and there's just a lot of other players. Like, we've cut plenty of good players before. And it's unfortunate because they are great players. But skill level, we just talked about that. How you support your teammates. That's what coach wants to know. What do you like outside of the court? Are you just a crappy dude? You're just hanging out doing nothing. You're just kind of a sloth doing your own thing, and then even when you're on the court, that shows up. Like, no coach wants that. That's too much coaching to do, right? Be responsible. All right, so here's a unique situation that I think some high schools are going to run into this season is dual roster players, right? Some high schools do it all the time. But for some high schools, it might be new. So what do you do if you're a dual roster player, right? You got to be a sponge, right? You got to soak up everything varsity coach says and JV coach, right? You got to know if there's a difference in what they're doing, like if they're running different schemes, if one's playing faster than the other team, which will probably happen between JV and varsity. But you got to be able to soak that up, and you got to be able to differentiate. It's a lot of work, right? It might be easy if it's just one program and they have one system all the way through. You're good. All you got to do is just maintain your focus, right? Also, don't let it go to your head if you're a dual roster player, right? I mean, that's super cool. It's impressive that you're being used as a dual roster player. That should tell you something. But you're good. You've earned it. But don't let everybody know. It's so hard to be a good player and disliked on your team, right? Because you're just that crap player, right? you just got that attitude that sucks, even though you're skilled, doesn't matter. No one enjoys playing with you. You know, make it fun. It should be fun, right? You should be able to have that, the skill level and mental level to have fun, play good quality volleyball, and be a great athlete and teammate, right? Playing up will take a new kind of focus for sure. It's going to take extra work. Maybe you've got a new set of zones to learn. You know, like for me, kids coming up with 6 zones, serving zones, you know, they get to my team, it's 9 zones. So now it's a little bit extra work. Well, multiply that by a varsity team who's doing all kinds of different things than a JV, right? They're playing faster. They have different moves, different blocking schemes and techniques that they do with hitting and blocking and passing and defense and offense. And it can be a lot, right? So make sure you're prepared for that and expect to work harder. Okay, expect to ride the pine, right? Get done with your JV match, throw on your varsity jersey. Don't expect to play, right? If you get to play, that's cool. And big kudos to you if you do get to play. But don't expect to play. You know what I mean? You're there to support the team and do what the team needs. So make sure you're giving it up for that, right? You got to be cool about it, man. Be proud of it, and let your play speak for itself, right? Just be quiet like it never happened. And, you know, focus on whatever your team goals are. Maybe it's winning state. Maybe it's just a regional win. You know, maybe it's just getting to 500. I know my first year of high school coaching, I was 0-23, but and I had 0 club players, but I had athletes with good mindset, and they stuck with me for 4 years, and our seasons got better. Our seasons got better for sure, and I don't know, they were going to quit when they were sophomores, and they had some back channel conversation, and they all hung in there, and we went on to have the last 2 years was a great couple of years for them. You know, I mean, there was no state championships or anything like that. We did work our way into the top 10, which was great for that school. The program had never been there before, so we hit a mile marker. And now today, I mean, I don't coach there anymore, but now today they're definitely a top 8 team in the state. So that program has taken off wonderfully there. So congratulations to those guys. Anyhow, let's talk about Warrior Dial. All right, know your Warrior Dial. You're going to need to know your Warrior Dial, especially if you're a dual roster, right? So if your Warrior Dial's set at 1, let's just say that's like super stealth mode. You know, like, yeah, I'm cool, I got this, no big deal, whatever. But 10 would be absolute beast mode, right? So that's your Warrior Dial, right? So where's your dial set at? Maybe you've got an opportunity to be a dual roster player, but you just don't have the drive to really be a dual roster player. You kind of expect it maybe, right? Hey, I'm a junior, you know, or I'm a sophomore. I can easily beat that kid out, whatever it is. You know, you need to work at it, right? So figure out where your dial is set, you know, and can you turn it up? Maybe you're not good enough to turn it up. Maybe, hell yeah, maybe you can turn it up, you know, past 10 and get to 11, you know. I remember like in Top Gun Maverick, whenever, you know, they needed to hit Mach 10 on their training day. And then he just pushed it a little bit more, and he just kept begging that, you know, he's like commanding that the aircraft hit 10.2. And of course, you know, I think he hits 10.4 and then explodes or something like that. So I don't know. Anyway, you got to make sure your beast mode is enough. Okay. If you don't, then you gotta figure out how to dial it up and get in there and be that dual roster player. What if your expectations are so high and you want to be a dual roster player, but you're just not, right? Well, that doesn't mean that you failed. Okay, you've not failed, but you're noticed, right? Maybe the team doesn't quite need you yet, but for next year, maybe you're heir to the throne, right? So you always got to look at the future. Look at how I know you want things for you now, and that's good to have goals, right? Which a goal is part of a mission, I think. You know what I mean? Goals are kind of an end to your drive, right? Well, I just want to do this. Boom, I hit my goal. Yay, let's get another goal, right? Well, I think if you stack those goals up, eventually those goals lead to a mission, right? So let's talk about that for a little bit. Goals are good, but I'm more of a mission guy, right? I just think that, you know, like I said, goals have an end point, you know, and you don't really want to have an end. You want this ongoing mission. Maybe your entire volleyball career and making those teams and not getting cut and lettering, maybe winning state, maybe winning a regional championship, actually sets you up for something later in the mission, right? So what do you achieve from that? Like if you underachieve, do you miss your goal? If you have a mission, you don't necessarily underachieve, but you're constantly building, right? So here's what I'm proposing. Think of a goal as a necessary marker in time, right, on your timeline, right? And that's how your mission takes shape, right? And this is going to last you, let's say your mission is just through high school. What if your mission is through life? What are you doing to set yourself up to push yourself beyond and make that mission very, very valuable, right? So that's the goals of a mission, I guess. The results aren't immediate. They're not. It's going to take a bit, right? And if it's a lifelong mission, if it's a 4-year mission, is that a Star Trek? Isn't that a Star Trek reference? I just did that accidentally. But anyway, and I'm not a Trekkie. I do like the original series, but I never got on board with all the adaptations and whatever. Anyway, the results aren't immediate, and it takes lots of work. And I'm telling you, you got to believe in the process. So talking about believing in process, and we kind of alluded to this in the last episode. There was a book that I referenced, and so several years ago there was a book published, and I don't know, maybe 2015 or something. So the guy's name is Joshua Metcalf. You should check it out. It's called Chop Wood, Carry Water. Okay, it's about the process of chopping wood and carrying water and what the mission is, right? So this guy, what he did, not Joshua himself, but the character in the book is a young man who's trained to be a samurai warrior, right? And all he did before he even picked up a bow or knocked an arrow is he chopped wood and carried water every day. It was, he lived in a village, and this is, set in modern times. It's not like it's, this was some ancient Chinese myth or whatever, but it's set in current era, and the village depended on the wood to create fire for heat, warmth, comfort, food, whatever it was, and water, same thing, you had to have those things. It was essential that everybody in the village chopped wood and carried water, right? So anyhow, I think, and he does it every day. Like I said, it's part of the thing. It becomes frustrated with it, gets an opportunity to compete. It's a good little read, and don't be alarmed by the message in this book. Don't be alarmed when it translates exactly to what you're doing in volleyball. Sometimes I think if you just remove the words archer, bow, competition, and replace it with competition, volleyball, serve, pass, set, kill, whatever, I think you will find that correlation. I mean, it's really cool. And even though, you don't like the mundane stuff, and I think that's kind of the idea behind chopping wood and carrying water is, it's the serve pass of our world. You got to do it every day. It'll help you in the long run. It's all about believing and trusting the process, because I know that's kind of an overused cliche phrase, and I don't like using those things, but I will tell you, believing in the process is absolute truth. So it's one you can trust, especially in volleyball, right? And there's a great message. It's a great story. I think you should check it out. And you'll figure out, I'd love to hear how it applies to volleyball for you. It's all about the details and the fundamentals and just, perfect ball control, working on your teammates, working with your teammates, that kind of. At some point, you'll peak in your training, and then you'll dip, right? And then you'll plateau. And then you gotta go through this long plateau period before you become a master of what that is. And I don't know what that timeline is for some of you that just maybe 7th grade through senior year. Some of you may take that all the way through college. Some of you may take that all the way through professional play. Maybe it's beach, maybe it's professional overseas or professional here. And then maybe on to coaching. I don't know what the mission is for you. You've got to kind of shape that yourself. But once that happens, you'll be surprised at how visualization of that really pays off. So check out the book. Joshua Metcalf is the author of Chop Wood, Carry Water. So give it a read. It's quick, and it's audiobook. I think it's, I don't know, you could probably get an audiobook or a paperback. I can't imagine being more than $15. Audiobook is probably much cheaper. if you've got that kind of time. Like I can't sit down and read. I got too much going on. So it's easier for me to listen than it is to sit down and read, although I wish I could get back to reading. But somehow, I don't know, it just doesn't seem to work out. So anyway, all right, check out the book. It's a good read. It's a good life lesson, and I would love to hear your comments on it. So, and some of you have probably already read it. Anyhow, all right, let's move on to NCAA men's volleyball season, which has launched. Last weekend was the launch of the season, and I'm going to run through this top 10 real quick, and we're going to count the Coles, right? So I did a little research online, and I don't know, it just popped up, just seeing like some of the key additions and losses to some of these top 10 teams. I was like, damn, there's a lot of Coles on this list. So overall, there's 29 Coles on D1 rosters. So if you're a Cole, keep working, because you're either a key addition or you're a key loss. So, of course, they've got number one UCLA, and they lost the Gooch. So that was a key loss for them. So is J.R. Norris. Number two, Hawaii. Okay, so they've got Cole Hoagland. All right, they lost a few people, so we'll see how they rebound from that, but hanging tough at number two. Number three is UCI, key loss, Cole Gillis. So see, another Cole. I'm telling you, you're the Cole. All right, Long Beach State comes in at number four. No Cole there. Number five is Grand Canyon, another key loss, Cole Udall. So he's gone. Coming in at number six, no Cole there, but I'll tell you what Ohio State's getting. I can't even remember. Big Ben is a senior or junior, but kid's been around volleyball forever, and he's got an opportunity to go play at Ohio State when he graduates. So we're looking forward to that. Indianapolis is proud of that kid. He's such a great kid, and his brother's nice too, and they're great athletes, and they're fun to watch those guys play volleyball. So best of luck to those guys, and I will see them in high school season. So looking forward to playing Big Ben and his brother. All right, so that was number six at Ohio State. Stanford comes in at seven. All right, so their key loss was, I can't pronounce his last name, Justin Liu. I'm going to say Liu, L-U-I. Anyhow, number eight, BYU, no Cole there. Number nine, they've got, let's see on my list, it shows Loyola Chicago with Cole Schlotthauer. Sorry, Cole. That's all right. People butcher my name all the time, too, so I'm sure you're used to it. Anyhow, and then number 10, Penn State, they lost Cole Bogner and Cal Fisher. I know Cal's not a Cole, but that's close enough. Cal, you're getting thrown in there. So officially not one of my 29 that I've counted. So we're going to call it kind of like 29.1. How about that? So, yeah. So Cal's getting thrown in there. All right, so here's some of the other conference breakdowns. Let's see, what do we got? In the Big West schools, we got Hawaii, Long Beach State, UC Irvine, UCSB, UC San Diego, and California Southern Northridge. Or is it Cal State Northridge? I don't know. Anyway, the EIVA schools. That's where Penn State, Princeton, Charleston, George Mason, Harvard, and I'm guessing that's New Jersey Institute of Technology. NEC schools with, let's see, they got St. Francis, Damien, LIU, St. Francis, Brooklyn, Brooklyn in the house, Fairleigh Dixon. Okay, that sounds weird. Merrimack and Deauville, I don't know. I have to go look that up because the pronunciation, it's D''U''ville. So, I don't know. I could be just rooting for this team just because of the name. MPSF. These teams, there's some familiar names in here. Maybe not. Maybe they're new to you. UCLA, Stanford, Grand Canyon, Pepperdine, USC, and Concordia. Concordia, I mean, they showed up with a 2-10 record. That sucks. That's too bad for them. I know they didn't want that, but that's a tough conference to be in. And this one here, I'm attached to the MIVA, baby. It's Ball State. I got a couple indie boys up there. I know one for sure that I got to coach against, Aaron Hernandez, a.k.a. Chucky. He is one hell of an athlete. And I think some coaches said the year we lost in the state championship, we got beat by one dude. Well, two, probably Frankie and and Shuki. Those guys were amazing. Anyhow, Loyola Chicago, Ohio State, soon to be Buckeye Ben, Big Ben from Indy, playing at Brebeuf. And then, of course, there's Lewis. Oh, do we have any guys from Lewis? I don't know. Purdue, Fort Wayne, the Dons. I don't know. I got a special attachment to the Dons. Also, they got to be able to coach with this kid for a couple of years. They had a 6'2" bro, Andrew Meyer from Roncalli, which was this kid is super talented. He's going to get to play. We got to see him in that showcase. Go back to the episodes and find the college showcase. He's in there. A lot of these guys on the list are in there. Let's see, what do we got? Let's see, that was Purdue, Fort Wayne. I got Lindenwood, Brendan Luthane in the membrane. All right, this kid's a huge flyer. Also got to coach with him for a couple of seasons, and man, this kid is another super talent. Also a Roncalli grad. You got to love that. We got a lot of guys that went on to play. Got Big Sean at King, and Barkley's there now too. So we got a lot of guys, and Roncalli turns out a ton of kids to go play at the next level, and I'm super proud of those guys and happy for them, and I hope they're achieving all their goals. All right, what else we got left? After Lindenwood, we got McKendree, which I believe that's in Illinois, and so is Quincy. Quincy rolling up with a 1-13. Them and McKendree. Dang, boys. That's a tough one. But, hey, keep working, right? SIAC schools. All right, so we got Edward Waters. That sounds so formal. Hello, my name is Edward Waters. Central State. I know we had a mental institution here in Indianapolis called Central State. I'm not even going to go there. That's not even funny. All right, Benedict, Fort Valley State, Kentucky State, and Morehouse. So that's our conference breakdown for D1. Anyhow, the 29 Coles, that's the theme for this show. On episode 9, we got 29 Coles. I don't know. Maybe there's a correlation there. Probably not. Probably mathematically worked out for 28 or something, but I don't know. That's not my job. My job is trying to keep it funny and give you a little bit of insight. So make sure you're tapping into this NCAA play as much as you can. Like, it doesn't have to be D1, right? Like, look at some of the other ones, NAIA, D2, D3. I know a friend of mine, Diggs McNasty, played. He was D5. So he's a charmer. I get him on the show here one day and let him go off, and that's probably going to be an adult-only show. But anyway, all right, gang, I'm going to call this episode Dunzo. All choices are easy to make. Choose the one that's not so easy, okay? Put in the extra work. Be that dual-rostered player. Check out all things volleyball, all right? All right, thanks for tuning in to the Atomic Dom Show. I'm Atomic Dom. Have a good day. Later.